When Eddie Murphy calls you funny and talented at a young age, it's certain that a career in comedy is solidified. Getting recognition from one of the comedy legends would give anyone the confidence to keep going. Bobb'e J. Thompson had established his career before working with Eddie Murphy, as he had worked with comedic talents like Cat Williams, John Witherspoon, Eddie Griffin, Anthony Anderson, Tracy Morgan, and Raven-Symoné. Once you're associated with beloved stars like these, it seems like the path to mainstream success would be an open road. Thompson's most memorable roles include My Baby's Daddy and Role Models. Some remember him from Tyler Perry productions like House of Pain and For Better or Worse. Most millennials remember him as Stanley, the mischievous next-door neighbor of Orlando Brown's character Eddie. Thompson's ability to light up the screen and give an electrifying performance that everyone falls in love with is why Bobb'e J. Thompson will always be unforgotten. Bobb'e J. Thompson was born on February 28, 1996 in Kansas City, Missouri. Thompson would first get his first major look at the age of 5 on Apollo Kids, where he performed That's My Name by Bow Wow. Even from a young age, you can tell he was headed to stardom due to his undeniable charisma. Thompson immediately captured and captivated the audience during his set. Now, after Apollo Kids, Thompson participated as a judge on America's Most Talented Kids in 2003. That same year, he was cast as Jimmy Mitchell, Tracy Morgan's son, in The Tracy Morgan Show. The series also starred Tamala Jones as Tracy's wife, Cat Williams, John Witherspoon, and the late Heavy D. Unfortunately, NBC canceled the show due to low ratings after just 18 episodes, leaving 2 unaired. With an all-star cast like that, it's disheartening to find out that the show didn't last longer, especially since majority of the cast went on to do bigger and better projects. Thompson was able to pick up a Young Artist nomination for Best Performance in a TV Series aged 10 or younger. Now, for anyone paying attention to Bobbie's career, the 4'6" actor typically found himself playing the role of a little bad kid similar to Dennis the Menace. And at the height of his career, Thompson was known for his mischievous ways. In 2019, the Shade Room caught up with Thompson and asked how demanding his show business career was at such a young age. First and foremost, it was a blessing because it gave me an opportunity to provide for the people closest to me, starting with my mother and little sister. I was able to give them a life that they could only have dreamed of. On the demanding side, it wasn't that bad because my mama made sure I always had time to be a kid. And work was fun to me back then, so it didn't seem all that demanding. It's still fun now, it's just a little more of a work feel these days. Thompson would then receive arguably one of his most well-known roles in his career in 2004. He would go on to make his debut as Stanley on That's So Raven. Stanley was Eddie's next-door neighbor who was in love with Raven. Stanley was mean, rude, and obnoxious to everyone except Raven. Thompson was in a total of 10 episodes of That's So Raven between 2004 to 2007. He reprised his role as Stanley in one episode of Cory in the House. 2004 would end up being one of Thompson's busiest years. His film debut was a small role in Full Clip. He also appeared in My Baby's Daddy that same year in Idlewild and Fred Claus a few years later. When it comes to television, Thompson had guest starred in My Wife and Kids, Whoopi, and Just Jordan. Now, a few years later, Thompson was reunited with Tracy Morgan when he played his son, Tracy Jr., in 3 episodes of 30 Rock between 2008 to 2009. Thompson's film career would also continue to rise in movies like Role Models, Land of the Lost, and Imagine That, starring Eddie Murphy. On the red carpet premiere of Imagine That, Murphy gave his reaction to Thompson being called the pint-sized Eddie Murphy. Murphy said that Thompson was very talented and would be around for many years to come. In 2009, Cartoon Network gave Thompson his own series as his work would continue to pay off. The show was called Bobb'e Says. It was a reality television series that was described as Thompson hitting the streets, beaches, malls, and parks with his trademark charm and wit to advise the public on things they should avoid doing. The series ended after just 6 episodes, unfortunately. Thompson would then decide to end the series to focus more on TV and film. Despite his show coming to an end, Thompson would continue to star in guest roles like True Jackson VP and voicing LaMille Temptation on an episode of The Boondocks. Thompson's next recurring role came from Tyler Perry. He acted in 6 episodes of For Better or Worse and played the character of Deshaun in 7 episodes of House of Pain. It appears that as Bobb'e got older, the roles that once made him famous started coming in less, as he would grow out of his trademark brand of being the small kid with the big mouth. When asked about the struggles of transitioning from a child star to adulthood, Bobb'e would go on to respond, "I really wouldn't call it struggles. I like to refer to them as growing pains, which we all have at some point in life. But I think when you grow up in the spotlight, it takes people time to grasp the concept of you actually being grown because they fell in love with you as a child. So it takes them time to let go and actually view you as an adult. That would be the only struggle I can say I experienced as far as transitioning from a child actor to adult." Around the time of his 18th birthday, Thompson had slightly slowed down on making movies and TV shows and decided to focus more on his music career. Thompson has stated that he started rapping before he was acting. Thompson's SoundCloud page is called King Bobb'e J, which he has freestyles that go as far back as 3 years ago. His YouTube page, Bobb'e J Thompson, BBL Media, also showcases his music and behind-the-scenes footage. In 2014, Thompson would re-emerge in the film School Dance, his first lead role. The film was co-written and directed by Nick Cannon and featured Lunel, Mike Epps, George Lopez, Cat Williams, Tiffany Haddish, and Kevin Hart, among others. Thompson held his own against other veteran stand-up comedians. Now, it appears that Cannon must have been pleased with Thompson's performance in the film because Thompson would later become a regular cast member on Wild 'N Out, which he has been since 2018. When it comes to his family life, it has mainly consisted of his single mother and sister, whom he credits himself with providing for since he was 5. "Been the man of my household since I was 5. Why would it change or get easier now?" As of now, Bobb'e remains single but has expressed his share of women. On an episode of the Did You Miss Me podcast in 2019, Thompson would explain that a lot of the women that he's been with were naturally curious. "I had to damn near stop talking to females. That Stanley shit, you have to let it go. I let it go. R.I.P. Stanley. Was great while it lasted. Bobb'e J is Bobb'e J, and I'm not no motherfucking kid. Women be curious. He's confident, kinda cocky, but yet he's humble. They be curious." From his appearance on Apollo Kids at the age of 5 years old, to TV and movies, stand-up, and now Wild 'N Out, Bobb'e J Thompson has proved himself to be a versatile entity in this business, covering all genres. Thompson is considered a veteran in this game despite just being 25 years old of age, having been on screens for the last 20 years. No matter the medium, whether it's a show, movie, music, or character role, he's kept us entertained, and that's why Bobb'e J Thompson will always remain unforgotten.